The question we want to ask today is, what is a sequence, especially mathematically? Simply stated, sequences are just an ordered list of numbers. You could call a sequence a function with a domain, a function with a domain of positive integers. And so if we limited our domain or our inputs to just positive integers, this could be one definition of a sequence. As we put each domain value in, we would continue to get term values. So a sub 1 would be our first term, a sub 2 would be our second term. Okay, so these are our actual terms, and we'll continue on. There are two simple ways to define a sequence. One, which we've already seen, would be to define it like a function. The other way that we could define a sequence would be to define it what we like to call recursively, where each term is defined by the term before it, or several terms before it. As a function, we tend to use a sub n notation, not your traditional function notation. So we would write this particular sequence as a sub n equals 3n plus 2 all divided by n squared. To find our individual terms then, we simply plug a 1 into the n position, finding out that a sub 1 would then be 5. We then progress to 2, simply plugging it in, simplifying along the way, and finding out what our next term is. Each term, we just continue to add, or plug in, I should say, the next integer. And you'll see that the change in each term is being affected by both what's happening in the numerator with the multiplication and also what's happening in the denominator with the squared number term. And these are the terms that we have so far. You will find that we come across two different types of sequences in terms of length as well. We have infinite sequences, which of course continue forever, but we also have finite sequences, which would be limited to a defined number of terms, a specified number of terms. In our recursively defined sequences, you'll find that the terms are defined by previously occurring terms. In this example, we know our first term is 3. We know that every term is going to be based on the previous term multiplied by 3 and then 2 from that product. So if we want to look at our second term, what we're going to do is we're going to take 3 times a sub 1 and subtract 2. In this case, since a sub 1 was 3, we'll get a 9 minus 2, which is a 7. So our second term is 7. To get to our third term, we simply plug our second term in, making 3 times 7 minus 2 equal to 19, and our third term becomes 19. Our fourth term as well, simply take our third term, plug it in, making our fourth term 57 minus 2, which becomes a 55. And our first term we already knew. We already knew that our first term was a 3. So this gets us the first 4 terms of our sequence. If we wanted to know the fifth term, we would simply continue to plug in the piece that we know to get the next term. And that is how we find a sequence recursively. I hope this has given you just a little insight into what a sequence really is. Simply an ordered list of numbers defined in some way, shape, or form.